next big question is one that will inspire passion in every rock and roller in the country. Which is the best band of all time? The Beatles or the Rolling Stones?
Back in the Fabo 60s, the music really sent us wild. And with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, it still does. The Beatles were moulded into a clean hit-making machine, selling 500 million albums before they split up. And the Stones are still rocking 40 years on, grossing over $200 million on their latest tour.
Love is in the air.
Women love both bands, and they love their women.
What's so good about the Beatles?
Members of both bands ended up in court on drugs charges.
How often have you taken LSD?
About 4 times.
If you've been called the world's most elegantly wasted man.
Elegant, I'm not sure about.
The Beatles had more number ones, but maybe the Stones had more fun. So the Stones know what's what.
What?
Are the Beatles better than the Stones, or the Stones better than the Beatles? Who do you scream for? It's a debate that's lasted 5 decades. Let's decide it tonight.
Seeking some satisfaction for the Stones, the tantalising Toddy Goldsmith with the Skyhooks rhythm guitarist Red Simons.
Lead
guitarist rhythm. Yeah, get over yourself. And fighting for the Fab Four, please welcome the legendary Leo Sayer. With singer-songwriter and actor David Campbell.
Hey, can I just clarify here, Jules, right now, it's right that Red hasn't been able to do the rhythm for years.
Yes.
His rhythm method's all askew.
Sides do not split.
Oh.
Now, Red, you're a man who's not afraid to speak his mind, so go to it, mate.
That's right. Well, I don't know about these guys, but I think I have some precedence in this matter because I'd probably be the only person who's spent any quality time with the Rolling Stones.
Oh, really?
You've never spent any time with the Rolling Stones or the Beatles, have you, Leo? Oh, you have?
British pop star as well.
With Leo Sayer here.
Yeah. I'm forgetting, of course. You probably met them and they said,
just get Keith on the
Snow
phone
White's
now.
playing in town, is it?
We should chip in here. I mean, this is okay. I mean, you're talking about a man barely alive. Okay, the Stones are all still working. They're all still alive. But the Beatles went out in their glory.
Here's some Beatlemania footage in Australia during the 60s, which should heat things up a little.
The people in the cheaper seats, clap your hands. And the rest of you, if you just rattle your jewellery.
In 1964, Australia went crazy with Beatlemania. Symptoms of Beatlemania include record crowds and incredible scenes, including over 300,000 in Adelaide alone.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the Beatles.
In America, 55,000 fans packed Shea Stadium in the world's first sports arena rock concert. And all anyone could hear was the screaming. The Beatles' lives were surreal, and that soon spilled over into their creativity. Their films were silly, nonsensical, but made a lot of money.
Are you individually millionaires yet?
No, that's another lousy rumor.
Where does all the money go?
Well, a lot of it goes to Her Majesty. She's a millionaire.
Their music became more surreal as well. Sgt. Pepper's was the world's first concept album. It changed popular music forever and is still Rolling Stone magazine's #1.
Hey Jude.
But even as the band fell apart, Paul McCartney penned Hey Jude for John Lennon's son Julian. This clip captures a rare moment of mutual respect during the Beatles' last days. 12 albums, 17 #1s. The only band ever to hold the top 5 positions in the Billboard charts. The Beatles are certainly one of the world's greatest bands. But are they better than the Stones?
Now, this is what happens when you get performers on stage. Now, you say the Beatles are better, Leo, but seriously, who would have been better to tour with?
Oh, definitely the Beatles. I mean, much more fun. And the
Really?
Stones, you'd have never got home alive.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
That's true. I've hung out with both of them. And I've got to say the Beatles were more fun.
Mate, it is a day of name dropping today, isn't it?
It certainly is.
But I kind of like it.
How about the titles of their songs, though? A Hard Day's Night, Whinge, Whinge, Whinge. Help!
Hang on,
Yellow
hang on,
Submarine.
hang on. I can't get no satisfaction.
That is not
Hang
a
on,
whole lot
hang on.
of fun,
I want to be
Leo.
your man, the Stones. But that's a Beatles song, and the first song that they ever had a hit with was a Beatles song. They went to the Beatles, the Stones, to get a hit. I rest my case.
But don't you think also...
And don't you think as well...
I think, bar none, we all know Beatles songs. We can sing along with Beatles songs more than we can Stones songs. Do you think this thing is... What? Bear with me. Na, 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 na. Hey, look at that. All right.
John Lennon had to strip off naked in a fetal position and wrap himself around Kooky Yoko just to get on the cover of the Rolling Stone magazine.
Well, no, you could have a few points on cool, but John Lennon invented cool. He was the first artist ever to wear white. He was the first artist to be with a painter.
Excuse me, Brian Jones was the first artist to wear costume jewellery.
All right.
Couldn't swim.
One decade wonders, mate.
All right, settle down.
One last thing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not about the Beatles and the Stones. This is about us winning and them losing. I'll leave it up to you.
Fair point. Well, we've seen that the Beatles were the heavyweight champions of the 60s, but the Stones are still punching. So let's take a look at them, this incredible band throughout the decades.
Well, pass out the earplugs and everybody duck.
You're giving us a really good Australian welcome here, I tell you.
I guess the Rolling Stones aren't everyone's cup of tea. There are whole armies of parents who become almost homicidal at the sight of them.
1961, and the world thrilled to the dangerous sound of the Stones. 4 years later, Satisfaction, their first #1 hit, displayed their love of big bluesy riffs and provocative lyrics.
I think that the Rolling Stones have a lot more sex appeal than the Beatles do. They act better, they sing better, and they look better.
The Stones experimented with different sounds. Start Me Up was written and originally recorded as a reggae song. And with big tours came big money. The Voodoo Lounge tour grossed $140 million, a record that stood until the Stones broke it themselves this year.
How much is money driving you and how much is music driving you?
You can have the money, pal.
Still on top after 40 years, 21 albums and 36 top 10 singles, plus the largest live audience ever, the Rolling Stones have redefined what it means to be rock stars.
Is this going to be your last tour?
Yeah, this is the next 5.
It's fair to say these two teams are never going to agree, and the great thing is they don't have to, because we're going to throw it over to the audience to decide for them. All right, so audience, press A for the Stones, or if you agree with John Lennon, you think that the Beatles are bigger than Jesus, press B. Go! Coming up, will the biggest band be Beatles or the Stones? And 4 more panellists will be shaken, not stirred. Welcome back to Big Questions, the show where we pit some of Australia's most passionate and argumentative personalities up against each other. It's a bit like when you're a kid and you'd put crabs in a bucket and shake them and make them fight. Well, that's what I love about it. Now, the last bout was between the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and the tribe has spoken. The best band of all time is the Beatles at 85%. They still can't get no satisfaction. Please thank our panellists. We're going to head backstage and lick their wounds.